Are we live? I just need to know, are we live? Are we live into his hour? Y'all ready for the Sabbath Saturday sermon? Well then, let's get it. Hey. Come on. Hey, let it go now. Hey. 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 This just to get me started, y'all. Hold on. Hey! Let's change the animation real quick, and then we'll get to our next song. That was to get me started. I don't know why it's so hot in here today. I turned the heat off 3 hours ago, and I'm still sitting here sweating. So I don't know what's going on, but we ain't gonna let that stop us. So let's just keep it going. All right. Now, I put the licenses that the same people had in the video, so they shouldn't be able to get us. So let's rock, y'all. How'd they get way up there? You say, welcome home. What am I gonna do? I'm coming up, Jesus, on the rough side of the mountain. I must hold to God. Take hold of His powerful hand. Come on. I'm coming up, Jesus, on the rough side of the mountain. We're doing my best to make it in. I'm coming up, Jesus, come on the rough side of the mountain. I must hold to God. I'm coming, His powerful hand, come on. Cause I'm coming up, I'm coming on the rough side of the mountain. I'm doing my best to make it in. let's set the next one up here. Let's set the next one up here. Now this one got video, so
full coverage.
We're really gonna be jamming on the one here. 3, 2, 1. Skip the ad. Pause. I said pause, man. Pause. Start at the beginning. There you go. Now let's come back. Alrighty. Now, I use the same thing that these YouTubers use. The same licenses and acknowledgement to the creators of these songs. I put them in the description. So if they try to flag us, I'm going to dispute them and let them know that I did the same thing that those YouTubers that put these videos up did. I did the exact same thing. And we freezing for no reason at all. Why did we freeze? We froze for no reason at all. We not running no animations yet. We just froze. Why? Do what you gotta do. Let's get to it. One more song, y'all. Y'all can bear with me here. One more song. Got a commercial. She said, hold my mule. Cause I'm gonna shout right now. Hold my mule. Get that out of here, because we don't have no copyright for that. She said, hold my mule. Can you hold my mule? Uh-oh. 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 Heads up, we detected copyrighted audio and video in your stream. I got acknowledgments to those people down there, so don't even try it. Don't even try it, YouTube. Don't even try it. Don't even try it. Y'all look down here. There's the rough side of the mountain. Shirley Caesar. Right here. And where's the other one? Uh-oh. They might get me for the first song. I forgot to put the first song in there. So what's right there, YouTube? Don't even try it. Don't even try it, YouTube. Don't even try it. Because I will dispute it. I gave them people that credit. It's in the description. I was looking through people that played music. Hey, Nia. I was looking at people that played music and I noticed that they had the name of the song, the name of the people that own the song. And that's what we put in the description. Nia said, nice musical selections. I hope you're not copyrighted. Well, like I said, I'm going to dispute them when they try to hit me later on tonight or in the morning. When they try and hit me, I'm going to just dispute them. Because I know they're already going to try it. But we got the name, the title, the name of the people who own it. Those people videos are still up. My video should stay up. Now, if they don't, we can just take it out. It's all good. Well, we got two topics today, but I'll say one for tomorrow. Our topic was going to be, what does the Bible say about rearing up churns. That was going to be our topic. We'll save that for tomorrow because Liz, who ain't even here, asked me to do the origin of Christmas. I usually wait until, we get 4 or 5 days close to a holiday. But since she requested it, I thought we would go ahead. This is the Christmas season, even though we got the pandemic going on. It's still the Christmas season. We were little kids, we didn't know any better. Now we adults. When are we going to stop? Fact of the matter is, the 2 biggest holidays of the year, actually the big 3, Thanksgiving ain't got nothing to do with religion. Be honest with you, Thanksgiving don't mean nothing to me. Being honest with you. If you're an ancestor of slavery, what you had to be thankful for? Just being real. I ain't been trying to start nothing. Easter. They've taken Easter and made it about Mary Sue Easter eggs. And getting chocolate. And getting a new suit. Sunday is about everybody getting that plant. All the churches got hundreds of them plants laying around. You see them on the ground. You see them in the floor of the churches. You see them on the benches. When Jesus was riding on a donkey on his way to Jerusalem, the people threw down their coats. They threw down all kinds of branches. And one of them was the psalm plant. That's where that comes from. That ain't got nothing to do with you sitting in Sunday holding a palm plant. Man-made. Going on the Easter egg hunt. Man-made. Us exchanging gifts on December 25th. Man-made. There's nobody who's sane. Nobody who's sane in the brain would dare come into this chat and try to tell me that Jesus was born on December 25th. Anybody that live in Arizona or who live in Nevada or who live in the higher portions of California can tell you that the desert is hot during the day. It's cold at night. Can I get an amen? You trying to tell me that in December, a woman gave birth to a newborn outside in the cold? You can't convince me of that. And they all stayed out there and sang and danced in the cold. There's no way in the world that happen. They out there walking for a census in the freezing cold. Walking hundreds of miles. You expect me to believe that? They were in a manger. They couldn't even get a hotel or a motel or an inn because everybody was filled up because everybody was going for the census to be counted. All them people out there in the cold. It's 15 degrees outside and everybody out there doing all that walking. You expect me to believe that? You a daggone fool. You are a fool if you believe that. Ain't no way in the world. They sitting there burning incense. They should have been burning some logs. The men wore a kind of dress, and so did the women. So you gonna tell me that they was out there and they didn't wear drawers back then? So they out there in 20-degree weather, out there doing all that walking. I'd have told King Herod to jump in the lake. I ain't walking for no census and no cold. There's no way in the world. That had to be September. It had to be late August or early September before it got cold. Who the heck was going to be outside all night? Nia says she's listening, clearing dinner dishes. So where did we get this idea of Jesus being born on December 25th? If you watch me, you already know why. Because we've covered this. The video's up. And I was asked today to cover it again. See, I'm not going to come to you with a bunch of hallelujahs and a bunch of amens. That's something you do in private. You don't have to do it in public. I come at you with the truth. And the truth, to the best of my knowledge, is, I've said it before, I'll say it again. The Romans had a huge empire. Part of that empire was Christians. As more and more Romans became converted from trying to kill all the Christians to actually trying to become Christians themselves, they ran into a problem. Half the empire was doing Christianity. The other half of the empire were pagans or heathens or non-believers or atheists, whatever you want to call them. When you got an empire, they didn't have cell phones back then. They ain't have helicopters and drones. They couldn't keep pace. They couldn't keep track of the people. So they made church. Church is how you kept track of the people. For them, church wasn't about worshiping God. To them, church was about finding everybody's business out. That's why they got priests that you go tell your sins to, so they know what you're doing. Huh? Can't no priest forgive your sin. Only Jesus can. If an ordinary man in a robe can forgive your sins, why did Jesus have to die on the cross? For anybody that might be Catholic, you want to answer that question? Come on in. I'll say it again. If a man calling himself a priest wearing a robe can sit in a little booth and can forgive you of your sins, why did Jesus have to die on the cross? So y'all see where I'm going. You see where I'm going. The Romans used church as a meeting place. You went to church once a week, and they was able to find out what was going on in their many provinces by having people spy, be inquisitive, be nosy, and getting people to tell the priest during confession, as they called it. That's how they knew what was going on. That's how they kept you in line. So church became more or less a gathering or a meeting place. Not so much about religion. You did religion, but that wasn't the main reason they had you there. The problem is they had a huge empire. They had an empire full of pagans. And the sad thing is there are so many things that we do that the pagans did, but the pagans didn't believe in God and Jesus. They believed in anything somebody put in front of them. Here, worship this statue of this pig. Worship this statue of this cow. Worship this statue of this bird. And they would do it. They literally had priests that, for their religion, they would have priests. When the people would come by and would throw food or leave food for the statue to eat, they would come in the middle of the night and they would take the food away and say, see, they ate. He's real. Look, he ate. He ate your food. Don't you feel special? He took the time to eat your food. You're probably saying to yourself, why would they go through so much trouble to convince people so you can come and give money in the collection basket? Everything went through the church with the Romans. Everything. I think if you wanted to do business, let's go to the church. Supposed to be about religion. It's about everything else but religion. So we got Easter where we supposed to be remembering the crucifixion and the resurrection of Jesus Christ. Yeah. Instead of having our kids remember that and growing closer to God, instead, we got them out there chasing Easter eggs. What does a bunny rabbit have to do with Easter? Bunny rabbits have a lot of sex. And they create a lot of offspring. They're very fertile. The pagans got a female fertility. And they worship the bunny. And they brought the, and they merged the bunnies in. Yeah, we celebrating the resurrection of Jesus, but also we celebrating the powerful female sex god. And may she bless us. And may our women be fertile and put out healthy, strong children. So without you knowing it, you worshiping a God you don't know. When you do Halloween ain't got nothing to do with kids trick-or-treating. Halloween was about worshiping the demons. Halloween is a double holiday. But you dress your kids up and send them out there. They'll go ask for candy from people they don't know. Nigga said rabbits are cute. They are cute, but what do they have to do with Jesus being crucified for us and then showing us the power of God by resurrecting himself? So there is a female goddess. They're supposed to be the sun god. Her birthday is December 25th. To the pagans, it was a very big day. The Catholics decided that Jesus' birthday was on the exact same day. So the pagans came to worship the fertility god, and the Christians came to worship Jesus. And over time, they whittled out the god of the sun. You know, around December 25th up until January, I think the sun has an equinox where it goes down and you don't see it as much. And then in January, it springs back up. The pagans thought that the sun god did that, and that's why they worshipped it. So, over time, as more pagans became more Christian-like, they started to weed these things out of the church. Maduck said, Neva does saying, are you getting ahead of me there, sir? But thank you, you're getting ahead of me there. Saint Nick, depending on who you ask. Because I've read that Saint Nick was a pervert. Other people say that he was a good man. They say he used to go mess with the children and leave a present under their bed. Some say the children was good in the orphanages. He would go leave a present under the bed. Take whatever side you believe. But what they got to do with Jesus Christ? Him dying on a cross gave us the ability to have everlasting life. That's a gift that keeps on giving. Everlasting means forever. It don't end. Somebody give you a gift, 2 months from them, you don't know where it is. Hey, what happened to that hat I gave you? I don't know. It's over there somewhere. I don't know where that thing. How do you compare a trinket to having a relationship with God? How do you compare a trinket that can keep you from going to baby hell? How do you compare it? Well, Romans is ruthless. They don't care. But they compared it. And once you introduce something and you keep shoving it down everybody's throat, eventually eventually people get used to it. They get used to it. Nia says the Christmas tree has nothing to do with the birth of Christ. Nia, I saw a scripture. I'm not good at memorizing stuff, but I saw a scripture. And it's actually talking about the pagans decorating the tree with all kinds of stuff and worshiping it. And they actually have to support it because they won't even stand up after they chop it down. Isn't the first thing you do when you get a tree is get the little feet for it so it'll hold it up? That's in the scripture. And it's telling you not to do it. Yeah. I guarantee you, y'all got a Christmas tree in your house. When I was little, I used to love to decorate the tree. I remember sometimes we could only afford, remember the little tree? And we used to decorate it. We pop popcorn and put lights on it, and even though we only had a little one, we had a small apartment. We only had a little one. It was still the center, the centerpiece. The Bible said don't do it. How many of y'all got a tree in your house right now? I just told you the Bible said don't do it. How many of y'all are going to take it down, throw it in the trash? Or give it to somebody else? How many of you? I'm just asking the question. We ain't got to do no singing, no song and dance. We can just talk about the truth. Nia said trees belong outdoors. Yes, they do. So do the animals. Except for the ones that can be domesticated. Like dogs and cats. Parrots. But wild animals belong in the wild. They're supposed to stay in the jungle. But as we knock down more trees and build more things, they run out of places to be at. And then we get mad. What are you doing in the street? Now that y'all know that Christmas ain't got nothing to do with Jesus' birthday, will y'all still celebrate it? Am I just wasting my breath? Let's see what some of the scholars say. I'll give you my take, and then we go look at what the scholars say. So hold on a sec, because I got other stories here. Okay, at random. Pagan roots. How many times are you gonna? Let me blow it up. This page still loading. They probably got animations, advertisements. Pagan roots. 5 surprising facts about Christmas. Look at them opening their gifts up. Oh, isn't that sweet? Look at them. Look, man. They're going animations. When you rip open presents this Christmas, you're taking part in traditions, some pagan, that stretch back thousands of years. When you gather around the Christmas tree or stuff goodies into a stocking, you're taking part in traditions that stretch back thousands of years, long before Christianity entered the mix. pagan or non-Christian traditions show up in this beloved winter holiday, a consequence of early church leaders melding Jesus' nativity celebration with pre-existing midwinter festivals. Since then, Christmas traditions have warped over time, arriving at their current state a little more than a century ago. Read on for some of the surprising origins of Christmas cheer and find out why Christmas was once banned in New England. 1. Early Christians had a soft spot for pagans. It's a mistake to say our modern Christmas traditions come directly from pre-Christian paganism, said Ronald Hutton, a historian at Bristol University in the United Kingdom. However, he said you'd be equally wrong to believe that Christmas is a modern phenomenon. As Christians spread their religion into Europe in the first centuries AD, they ran into people living by a variety of local and regional religious creeds. Christian ministaries lumped all these people together under the umbrella term of pagan, said Philip Saar, who researches early Germanic languages and Old English at Leicester University in the UK. The term is related to the Latin word meaning field. Get thinking away. Shaw told Live Science the lingual link makes sense. He said because early European Christianity was an urban phenomenon, while paganism persisted longer in rustic areas. Early Christians wanted to convert pagans, Shaw said, but they were also fascinated by their traditions. Christians of that period are quite interested in paganism, he said. It's obviously something they think is a bad thing, but it's something they think is worth remembering. It's what their ancestors did. Perhaps that's why pagan traditions remain even as Christianity took hold. The Christmas tree is a 17th century German invention. University of Bristol's Hutton told Live Science, but it clearly derives from the pagan practice of bringing greenery indoors to decorate in midwinter. The modern Santa Claus is a direct descendant of England's Father Christmas, who was not originally a gift giver. However, Father Christmas and his other European variations are modern incarnations of old pagan ideas about spirits who traveled the sky in midwinter, Hutton said. We all want that warm Christmas glow. Why this fixation on partying in midwinter anyway? According to historians, it's a natural time for a feast. In an agricultural society, the harvest work is done for the year, and there's nothing left to be done in the fields. It's a time when you have some time to devote to your religious life, said Shaw. But also it's a period when, frankly, everyone needs cheering up. The dark days that culminate with the shortest days of the year, the winter solstice, could be enlightened with feasts and decorations, Hutton said. If you happen to live in a region in which midwinter brings striking darkness and cold and hunger, then the urge to have a celebration at the very heart of it to avoid going mad or falling to a deep depression is very, very strong, he said. Stephen Nesselbaum, author of the Pulitzer Prize finalist The Battle for Christmas, vintage 1977, agreed. Even now, when solstice means not all that much because you can get rid of the darkness with the flick of an electric light switch, even now, it's a very powerful season, he told Live Science. The church was slow to embrace Christmas. Despite the spread of Christianity, midwinter festivals did not become Christmas for hundreds of years. The Bible gives no reference to when Jesus was born, which wasn't a problem for early Christians, Nissenbaum said. It never occurred to them that they needed to celebrate his birthday, he said. With no biblical directive to do so and no mention in the Gospels of the correct date, it wasn't until the 4th century that church leaders in Rome embraced the holiday. At this time, Nissenbaum said, many people had turned to a belief the church found heretical, that Jesus had never existed as a man but was sort of a spiritual entity. If you wanted to show somebody If you want to show that Jesus was a real human being, just like every other human being, not just somebody who appeared like a hologram, then what better way to think of him being born in a normal, humble way than to celebrate his birth? Nissan said. Midwinter festivals with their pagan roots were already widely celebrated, Nissenbaum said, and the date had a pleasing philosophical fit with festivals celebrating the lengthening days after the winter solstice, which fell on December 21st this year. Oh, how wonderfully acted Providence on that day, on that the Son was born. Christ should be born. One Christian text read. The Puritans hated the holiday, but if the Catholic Church gradually came to embrace Christmas, the Protestant Reformation gave the holiday a good knock on the chin. In the 16th century, Christmas became a casualty of this church schisms, with reformist-minded Protestants considering it little better than paganism, Nissenbaum said. This likely had something to do. This likely had something to do with the raucous, rowdy, and sometimes bawdy fashion in which Christmas was celebrated, he added. In England, under Oliver Cromwell, Christmas and other saints' days were banned, and in New England, it was illegal to celebrate Christmas for about 25 years in the 1600s, Nissenbaum said. Forget about people saying happy holidays instead of Merry Christmas, he said. If you wanted to look at a real war on Christmas, you got to look at the Puritans, he said. They banned it. Gifts are a new and surprisingly controversial tradition. While gift giving may seem inextricably tied to Christmas, it used to be that people looked forward to opening presents on New Year's Day. They were a blessing for people to make them feel good as the year ended, Hutton said. It wasn't until the Victorian era of the 1800s that gift giving shifted to Christmas, according to the Royal Collection. Queen Victoria's children got Christmas Eve gifts in 1850, including a sword and armor. In 1841, Victoria gave her husband, Prince Albert, a miniature portrait of her as a 7-year-old. In 1859, she gave him a book of poetry by Alfred Lord Tennyson. All this gift giving, along with the secular embrace of Christmas, now had some religious groups themed, Nissenbaum said. The consumerism of Christmas shopping seems to some to contradict the religious goal of celebrating Jesus Christ's birth. In some ways, Nissenbaum said, excessive spending is the modern equivalent of the revelry and drunkenness that made the Puritans frown. There's always been a push and pull, and it's taken different forms, he said. It might have been alcohol then, and now with these glittering toys. All right. That was Stephanie Pappas. That was one person's take. Let's go to another one. The unexpected origins of popular Christmas traditions. This ain't the same one, is it? Oops, wrong thing. Alright. Though December 25th is the day Christians celebrate the birth of Jesus Christ, the date itself and several other customs we've come to associate with Christmas actually evolved from pagan traditions celebrating the winter solstice. Christmas is really about bringing out your inner pagan, historian Kenneth C. Davis told CBS this morning. According to Davis, Christmas was celebrated as early as the 4th century, suggesting it had almost nothing to do with Jesus Christ. In ancient Rome, there was a feast called the Saturnalia that celebrated the solstice. What is the solstice? It is the day that the sun starts coming back. The days start getting longer, and most of the traditions that we have to relate to Christmas relate to the solstice, which was celebrated in ancient Rome on December 25th. So when Christianity became the official religion in a sense in Rome, they were able to fix this date. There's a little discrepancy about it, but there's no question that the fact that it was celebrated in Rome as an important day with gift giving, candle lighting, and singing, and decorating houses really cemented Christmas as December 25th. Another custom we can thank the pagans for? Christmas trees. Davis explained that the evergreen trees signaled the return of life and light as the winter solstice meant the days were starting to get longer. They started to hang an apple on it, so the little red balls on green trees, get the picture there. So all these things celebrate the idea that life and light are coming back into the world, which is essentially what Christmas means to Christians around the world. Mistletoe, though, that was started by the Druids, who believed it was an all-powerful healing item from the sacred oak tree. If you met someone in the forest and you gave them a sign of peace under the mistletoe, so people started to hang mistletoe above their doorways as a symbol of peace. This was such a powerful symbol of paganism that English churches actually banned the use of it, Davis said. Davis also pointed out the very first instance of a war on Christmas actually dates back to the Puritans in the mid-17th century. They knew all of these things. The date, the traditions were pagan ideas. The Puritans banned Christmas for 20 years in America before the celebration became just too popular. Alright. That was CBS Interactive. Liz ain't show up yet. Alright, I just hit her up on the Hangouts. It's her topic and she's not here for it. Alrighty, this is called The Shocking Truth. Oh my God, that's small. The Shocking Truth About Christmas. Let's blow it up. Wait a minute. Did I go too far? Hey, what are you doing? What? What happened? What happened? What? Wait a minute, what happened? Go back and pull it up again. Don't get flustered. This is what happens when you don't proofread. Go back up top. Okay, the shocking truth about Christmas. So what happened? Alright, I don't know what's going on here, y'all. This is what happened. We got a dud. What if I click that? Alright, I don't know what happened here. I mean, that's what it was called. All right, let's grab that. Told y'all we go at random. Oh Lord, the History Channel. And blow this up. Here come the ads. Christmas is celebrated on December 25th. It is both a sacred religious holiday and a worldwide cultural and commercial phenomenon. For 2 millennia, people around the world have been observing it with traditions and practices that are both religious and secular in nature. Christians celebrate Christmas Day as the anniversary of the birth of Jesus of Nazareth, a spiritual leader whose teachings form the basis of their religion. Popular customs include exchanging gifts, decorating Christmas trees, attending church, sharing meals with family and friends, and of course waiting for Santa Claus to arrive. December 25th, Christmas Day, has been a federal holiday in the United States since 1870. How did Christmas start? The middle of winter has long been a time of celebration around the world. Centuries before the arrival of a man called Jesus, early Europeans celebrated light and birth in the darkest days of winter. Many people rejoiced during the winter solstice when the worst of the winter was behind them and they could look forward to longer days and extended hours of sunlight. In Scandinavia, the Norse celebrated Yule from December 21st, the winter solstice, through January, in recognition of the return of the sun. Fathers and sons would bring home large logs which they would set on fire. The people would feast until the log burnt out, which could take as many as 12 days. The Norse believed that each spark from the fire represented a new pig or calf that would be born during the coming year. Nothing to do with Jesus. The end of December was a perfect time for celebration in most areas of Europe. At that time of year, most cattle were slaughtered so they would not have to be fed during the winter. For many, it was the only time of the year when they had a supply of fresh meat. In addition, most wine and beer were made during the year, was family fermented and ready for drinking. In Germany, people honored the pagan god Odin. During the midwinter holidays, Germans were terrified of Odin, as they believed he made nocturnal flights through the sky to observe his people and then decide who would prosper or perish. Because of his presence, many people chose to stay inside. Saturnalia in Rome, where winters were not as harsh as those in the far north. Saturnalia, a holiday in honor of Saturn, the god of agriculture, was celebrated. Beginning in the week and leading up to the winter solstice and continuing for a full month, Saturnalia was a hedonistic time when food and drink were plentiful and the normal Roman social order was turned upside down. For a month, slaves would become masters. Peasants were in command of the city. Businesses and schools were closed so that everyone could join in the fun. Also, around the time of the winter solstice, Romans observed Jubilee, a feast honoring the children of Rome. In addition, members of the upper classes often celebrated the birthday of Mithra, the god of the unconquerable sun, on December 25th. So that's her name, Mithra. It was believed that Mithra, an infant god, was born of a rock. For some Romans, Mithra's birthday was the most sacred day of the year. A god they believed came out of a rock. As Christmas really the day Jesus was born, in the early years of Christianity, Easter was the main holiday. The birth of Jesus was not celebrated. In the 4th century, church officials decided to institute the birth of Jesus as a holiday. Unfortunately, the Bible does not mention a date for his birth, a fact Puritans later pointed out in order to deny the legitimacy of the celebration.
Games online
some, what the heck? Y'all hear that? Although some evidence suggests that his birth may have occurred in the spring. Wait a minute, I went too far. I'm sorry. In the 4th century, church officials decided to institute the birth of Jesus as a holiday. Unfortunately, the Bible does not mention date for his birth, a fact Puritans later pointed out in order to deny the legitimacy of the celebration. Although some evidence suggests that his birth may have occurred in the spring, why would shepherds be herding in the middle of winter? Pope Julius I, or the First, chose December 25th. It is commonly believed that the church used this date in an effort to adopt and absorb the traditions of the pagan Saturnalia festival. First called the Feast of the Nativity, the custom spread to Egypt by 1432 and to England by the end of the 6th century. By the end of the 8th century, the celebration of Christmas has spread all the way to Scandinavia. Today, in the Greek and Russian Orthodox churches, Christmas is celebrated 13 to 14 days after the 25th. This is because Western churches use the Gregorian calendar, while Eastern churches use the Julian calendar, which is 13 to 14 days behind the Gregorian calendar. Both Western and Eastern churches celebrate Epiphany, or Three Kings Day, 12 days after their own respective Christmases. This is the day it is believed that the 3 wise men finally found Jesus in the manger. What? We having a time today. They got another animation. Come on, man. History Channel, terrible. By holding Christmas at the same time as a traditional winter solstice festivals, church leaders increased the chances that Christmas would be popularly embraced, but gave up the ability to dictate how it was celebrated. By the Middle Ages, Christianity had, for the most part, replaced pagan religion. On Christmas, believers attended church, then celebrated raucously in a drunken, carnival-like atmosphere similar to the day's Mardi Gras. Each year, a beggar or student would be crowned the Lord of Misrule, and eager celebrants played the part of his subjects. The poor will go to the houses of the rich and demand their best food and drink. If owners failed to comply, their visitors would most likely terrorize them with mischief. Christmas became a time of year when the upper classes could repay their real or imagined debt to society by entertaining less fortunate citizens. When Christmas was canceled, in the early 17th century, a wave of religious reform changed the way Christmas was celebrated in Europe. When Oliver Cromwell and his Puritan forces took over England in 1645, they vowed to rid England of decadence, and as part of the effort, canceled Christmas. By popular demand, Charles II was restored to the throne, King Charles, and with him came the return of the popular holiday. The Pilgrims, English separatists that came to America in 1620, were even more orthodox in their Puritan beliefs than Cromwell. As a result, Christmas was not a holiday in early America. From 1659 to 1681, the celebration of Christmas was actually outlawed in Boston. Anyone exhibiting the Christmas spirit was fined 5 shillings. By contrast, in the Jamestown settlement, Captain John Smith reported that Christmas was enjoyed by all and passed without incident. After the American Revolution, English customs fell out of favor, including Christmas. In fact, Christmas wasn't declared a federal holiday until June 26, 1870. Washington Irving reinvents Christmas. It wasn't until the 19th century that Americans began to embrace Christmas. Americans reinvented Christmas and changed it from a raucous carnival holiday into a family-centered day of peace and nostalgia. But what about the 1800s piqued Americans' interest in the holiday? The early 19th century was a period of class conflict and turmoil. During this time, unemployment was high and gang rioting by the disenchanted classes often occurred during the Christmas season. In 1828, the New York City Council instituted the city's first police force in response to a Christmas riot. This catalyzed certain members of the upper classes to begin to change the way Christmas was celebrated in America. In 1819, best-selling author Washington Irving wrote The Sketchbook of Geoffrey Canyon, a series of stories about the celebration of Christmas in the English manor house. The sketches feature a squire who invited the peasants into his home for the holiday. In contrast to the problems faced in American society, the two groups mingled effortlessly in Irving's mind. Christmas should be a peaceful, warm-hearted holiday, bringing groups together across lines. You're just not going to let me read this, are you?
History explains.
What is that?
Christmas lights. You know the story. Thomas Edison invented his light bulb.
Where is that coming from?
Yet Americans still needed convincing that light bulbs were the way of the future. One of Edison's engineers, Edward Johnson, had an idea. Christmas trees had been lit up for centuries, but by candles, which were less than safe.
All right, well, forget it. I ain't getting flagged. We already got the songs in the beginning. Nia says she knows of a person who celebrates Christmas, and they don't even believe in God. Nia says, good reason to celebrate. Well, you know, people get into the gift givings and, you know, singing the songs and the cheer. Nia says, left all our advertising. I couldn't see where it was coming from. So, all right, where's the truth at? Are you listening to truth? Because look at who we get ready to look at. I said it before. I think it's time to take his cell phone. Some of y'all might not agree.
I'm going to go one-on-one with the Charlie and wrestle him. See, so I'm going to wrestle the Charlie. So I got him the body slam. Booyah. I'm going to put him in the other one. So I'm going to put him in the other move, the razor edge. So I got him in the razor edge. See, so I put him in the razor edge. I'll leave it go one more. So I'm wrestling him. See, the Wayne Power ball. So I did the Wayne Power. No, I'm over the short. I'm more wrong. So I got it by his arm. So I'll put his other arm on. So I got him in his move. So I got him remember this one. The Tombstone. Dang, I almost hurt myself. Trying to do this. Hurt myself.
At the Tombstone.
The Tombstone power driver. The Tombstone.
He just said it. Tombstone power driver.
The Tombstone power driver. Whoa. And I kind of hurt myself this part right here in my face right here. Kind of hit me in my jaw. Just trying to do the Tombstone this thing. And this thing hurt me.
Well, you hurting it. You been hurting it for a whole week.
The Tombstone power driver. So I did the Tombstone power driver. So now we're doing the clothes on. The one in clothes on. So I did the one in clothes on. So I did the one in clothes on. So I'm gonna do something else.
Give him a DDT.
I'm gonna do something. The jackhammer knife. And I forgot how they say the move, the jackhammer, yeah.
Jackknife powerbomb.
So I did the jackhammer. Powerbomb.
Give him a splash. Give me a splash. How about an elbow?
One in clothesline. One in clothesline. So I'm gonna lose this to do the one in clothesline. One in clothesline. So one in clothesline. I'm buying some. Twos on her. And I'll show y'all how I did the twos on this guy. On my point right here. Yeah, when I did the two, there's a little part that hit me in my jaw right here. I'm alright. I'm alright, me. Yeah, me, I'm alright. Me. This thing right hit me in my jaw. I'm alright. Twos on power driver one more time.
You already done it.
The Tombstone power driver. The Tombstone power driver, y'all see it? So I did the Tombstone power driver. So I did the Tombstone power driver again, and again. The Tombstone power driver. So I'm gonna kick my opponent. Kung Fu Master. Another DDT. Ooh. So I did the DDT. Ooh. Like that. So we're putting the arm back on. You see, y'all said I was dependent on the wrestling rules, the razor edge, the jackknife powerbomb, and the tombstone. And I was kicking and pushing my opponent. So I went one-on-one with a turtle, wrestling. So I was pushing him. See, I punched my turtle. See, I punched my turtle in the face. See, I was wrestling one-on-one. One-on-one, I wrestled. One-on-one. And the man I put him in the two on the first time, just turtle. A little grab one hit me in my jaw. I'm all right. At least it didn't break my jaw, though. This little brown thing. This brown thing right here. These brown things, like it didn't break my jaw, though. That's why I was trying to be careful what I was doing.
You beat that thing up for 6 straight videos.
Pick up the show,
and it hit you back once. And you crying.
It's kind of hard for me.
Right.
I love to make y'all, I just love making y'all laugh and have fun. And I know y'all love my videos, y'all love me to death. And I love making people laugh. And that's what I'm about, making people laugh. To me. I'm all about juggling around and stuff and having fun. That's all about juggling around, having fun. Don't matter how I talk. This is the way I talk. If you have a problem with tough stuff, or I might say tough luck. If you have a problem with how I talk, tough luck. That's my new word, tough luck. If you have a problem with how I talk, tough luck. Cause I don't care. To me, I don't care how I talk. I can talk anywhere I want. This is the way I talk. If you have a problem with it, tough luck.
Okay. My only comment is, for 6 or 7 straight videos, he's beat that Ninja Turtle up. The Ninja Turtle hit him back one time, and he crying about it. Imagine if the turtle was live and was beating him up the way he's beating the turtle up. That's my only comment. Here's that turtle fighting again, wrestling matchup. Wrestling fan. Alright. That was Kevin Joseph King. Hey, a message from the president.
I have really good news. Today our nation has achieved a medical miracle. We have delivered a safe and effective vaccine in just 9 months. This is one of the greatest scientific accomplishments in history. It will save millions of lives and soon end the pandemic once and for all. I am thrilled to report that the FDA has authorized the Pfizer vaccine. We have given Pfizer and other companies a great deal of money, hoping this would be the outcome, and it was. On behalf of the American people, I'd like to thank all of the brilliant scientists, technicians, doctors, and workers who made this all possible. Pfizer and Moderna have announced their vaccine is approximately 95% effective, far exceeding expectations. These vaccines are also very safe. American citizens participated in clinical trials that were far larger than normal and had no serious side effects. The dedicated and independent experts at the FDA meticulously studied the results of the trials, and it has now passed the gold standard of safety. Through Operation Warp Speed, my administration provided a total of $14 billion to accelerate vaccine development and to manufacture all of the top candidates in advance. This included a nearly $2 billion investment in Pfizer to produce 100 million doses of their vaccine, with an option to produce 500 million additional doses. And I'm proud to say that we have made sure that this vaccine will be free for all Americans. Through our partnership with FedEx and UPS, we have already begun shipping the vaccine to every state and zip code in the country. The first vaccine will be administered in less than 24 hours. The governors decide where the vaccines will go in their state and who will get them first. We want our senior citizens, healthcare workers, and first responders to be first in line. This will quickly and dramatically reduce deaths and hospitalizations. When the China virus invaded our shores, I promised that we would produce a vaccine in record time before the end of the year. They said it couldn't be done, but with today's announcement, we have now achieved that goal. The United States is the first nation in the world to produce a verifiably safe and effective vaccine. Today's achievement is a reminder of America's unlimited potential when we have the will and the courage to pursue ambitious goals. As I've said from the beginning, a vaccine will vanquish the virus and return life back to normal. The pandemic may have begun in China, but we are ending it right here in America. Operation Warp Speed is the greatest medical manufacturing endeavor in American history. We are deeply grateful to every person who has worked round the clock on this monumental national project to save lives. Thank you all for your tremendous gifts to humanity. God bless you, God bless the United States of America, and God bless the world. Thank you.
So you thinking scientists, who you said was useless. You saying that we first, but last week, people in the UK started getting the vaccine. How you let that happen? I'm just asking a question. I'm just asking the question. How do people in the UK start getting it last week? Nobody in America is not available for us yet. I don't see that as a good thing. I see that as incompetence. Speaking of incompetence,
It continues to gnaw at us during this pandemic. Unemployment in Illinois. New numbers say it's gotten worse, not better. CBS 2 political investigator Dana Kozlov found one man who is stuck with no job, no money, getting no help from the state's unemployment office. Dana, he's had no income for 8 months.
8 months and counting, Brad, and he's about to become a father next month, and he says he's on the verge of losing his apartment. He is now included in a wave of people who've been struggling with the state's unemployment agency for months now. As shutdowns continue, Illinois' unemployment claims are, perhaps not surprisingly, shooting way up. Illinois Department of Unemployment Security officials report 65,596 new claims, up 40% from 1 week prior. It's only adding to 24-year-old Kevin McKay's stress.
You can't take care of your family. You can't take care of your daughter that's coming. Like, you get stressed out, you know, like you don't know what to do.
That's because he's still trying to get unemployment benefits from March after losing his dishwashing job at the now shuttered Furious Spoon restaurant in Pilsen. He says he applied for unemployment and got letters stating he qualified. He's certified, but no money ever came.
Not $1 since March.
McKay, who's expecting a daughter next month and is 2 months behind on rent, says after his initial letters, he then got this one.
Of recoupment.
It states he owes the state $416 from a past benefit overpayment. Baffled, he tried calling IDES to find out why that money owed wasn't simply being taken out of his benefits, without success. He even turned to the IDES handbook, which indicates money owed can be taken from future benefits. Specifically, it states the amount recouped may not be more than 25% of your weekly benefit. Now, months into his efforts, he still has no answers.
I reached out several times and I only got through to a person once.
The hangover of spring unemployment problems could now be exacerbated by this new claim surge. Another claimant tells me she just got this message when she tried to certify for her benefits online after she couldn't certify by phone. IDES officials repeatedly say system improvements are helping solve benefit problems more quickly. But people left in limbo, like McKay, just aren't buying it. What are you going to do?
I don't know. Like, I really don't know.
Whoa.
I'm trying everything that I can do. I reached out to you guys. I constantly reach out to them, but nothing ever seems to change.
McKay says his overpayment was determined to be a non-fraudulent one, which is why he has no penalty weeks to serve out. But he still doesn't know why he's not getting any money. And this afternoon, a spokesperson for IDES couldn't give us any specific answers either. They're not allowed to talk about specific cases, but the spokesperson, Rebecca Sisko, could only say that there is a system set up for people who have issues and that he should press the correct prompt for his particular situation. So the cycle apparently will continue. Brad?
8 months he's waiting. CBS 2 political investigator Dana Kozlov, thank you. Unfortunately, stories like Kevin McKay's not uncommon, not at all. Coming up at 10 o'clock, CBS 2 investigator Dorothy Tucker goes behind the scenes to expose what's keeping IDES from keeping up with the demand and why they seem to be working so hard to avoid.
No. Well, you know, to all the people that say who care, when that man get desperate and he breaking in your house or put a gun in your face, that's when you're going to care. Hey, Jay, what's going on? When that man get desperate and he got a newborn on the way, when we turn on the TV, when we do the video of him jacking the place or something, you gonna say, hey, that guy look familiar. You gonna say, hey, didn't we see him on the Bo Dark Show?
People fleeing the city for more space took its toll on the rental market.
Rents have fallen a lot over this past year, over 12% already, and we anticipate that to continue into and throughout 2021.
With near record inventory, Nancy Wu, an economist at StreetEasy, says it could be a while before the rental market rebounds in Manhattan, but that could be good news for your next lease, with landlords offering concessions.
I would sign a longer lease if I can. I think that the rents could start going up once more people are moving back to the city. Maybe not in 2021, but definitely in 2022.
While rents in Manhattan may take a while to bounce back to their pre-pandemic levels, here in Brooklyn, the experts say they could be in store for a faster rebound after they found some popularity during the height of COVID-19.
There's been a shift from Manhattan to Brooklyn where now, without having to commute to work, a lot of buyers are thinking about having more space, more affordability, and not worrying about their commute to work.
With 74% of homes selling below asking price and interest rates at record low levels, Wu says 2021 could be one of the busiest home buying years on record in the 5 boroughs. But don't expect the prices to last too long. Despite fears of an urban exodus, Wu says many people are already planning their return to the Big Apple.
The city is going to be very different next year, but as soon as it is safe for people to gather again, people will remember that there is no better place to do so than New York City, and the city may even cater to more people than ever before.
Even if that might be hard to imagine right now. Joe Masiri, Pix 11 News.
Anybody think about moving to New York? Thank you, Jay. Oh, that's what that sound was. All right. Give me a second here. Yeah, a lot of people get ready to get put on the curb. Right after the holidays. Instead of worrying about a gift. What are you doing? The phone doing what they want to do. I hate when the phone does. I didn't ask you all that, man. There it is. All right. Copy. I should just share it. All right. Back out. Go to Hangout. She already right here. Paste and send. Okay, let's go find. You said she is smoking good stuff. No one moved back. What? Are you serious? Okay, then it's in our other one. Where's the other one? Now we can't find the other one, right? Remember, there it is. All right, y'all. This is from Nia.
Now let's talk about the latest in the unemployment maze. We know Florida's unemployment system has been riddled with issues during this pandemic, but many Floridians who are still waiting on their benefits are just really at their breaking point. On Your Side's Jocelyn Howard tells us how one woman in particular has lost everything and she is still waiting for what is owed to her.
I have 24 weeks of claimed benefits that are at zero and on hold.
After navigating the Florida unemployment system and its glitches since June, Kelly Myers is officially homeless.
And I wasn't able to even buy food for myself.
While Myers waited on her unemployment payments, she says she was enduring domestic violence where she was living.
I did fear for my life, and I was actually going to depend on that money to leave that situation. It never happened.
Myers said her abuser went to jail and she is living at a shelter, but in a few weeks, she'll no longer be allowed to stay there.
Once I'm done with that, I don't even have a car to stay in.
When Myers was approved for benefits in June, U.S. Department of Labor statistics show only about 22% of applicants received their first benefit payment within 3 weeks. She did receive that one payment, but none since. Now she's owed
about $5,000.
If Myers receives that $5,000 owed to her, she could put a roof over her head. She's just praying it will come before it's too late.
Being told one thing and that it's taken care of, to call back a couple weeks later for something else to be wrong, it's difficult.
Jocelyn Howard, First Coast News, On Your Side.
It supposed to run out the 31st. He don't go into the 20th. Ain't much you can do about it. All right, y'all. It's Jimmy. It's Jimmy. No, we got a commercial. But first.
It's Jimmy here with your second stimulus check update and related news update. We got a lot going on right now. We're going to go over the second stimulus check, what's going on with that, and new bill by Senator Josh Hawley and Senator Bernie Sanders for $1,200 stimulus check. It's a bill just for $1,200 stimulus checks and nothing else. We go over all the details of it in this video.
But first,
don't forget to give this all the news right to your screen. Thanks for tuning in. Let's go. Break so you don't miss out on new videos. My wife and I do all the research for you every single day and bring you all the news right to your screen. Thanks for tuning in. Let's go. Breaking news, the FDA approved Pfizer's vaccine for emergency use in the United States. The FDA chief scientist Denise Hinton told Pfizer in a letter last night that she was authorizing the emergency use of the company's vaccine. The FDA's emergency use authorization will now kickstart the federal government's distribution of potentially life-saving doses to 64 states, territories, and major cities across the nation. The government plans to distribute 2.9 million doses of the vaccine within the next 24 hours, followed by an additional 2.9 million doses 21 days later for patients to get their second shot.
I have really good news. Today, our nation has achieved a medical miracle. We have delivered a safe and effective vaccine in just 9 months. This is one of the greatest scientific accomplishments in history. It will save millions of lives and soon end the pandemic once and for all. I am thrilled to report that the FDA has authorized the Pfizer vaccine. We have given Pfizer and other companies a great deal of money, hoping this would be the outcome, and it was. On behalf of the American people, I'd like to thank all of the brilliant scientists, technicians, doctors, and workers who made this all possible. Pfizer and Moderna have announced their vaccine is approximately 95% effective, far exceeding expectations.
This is why I don't like showing him anymore.
These vaccines are also very safe. American citizens participated in clinical trials that were far larger.
We already saw this, man.
Studied the results of the all of the top options.
Y'all even saw the whole thing. Yeah, damn, man, you stealing my job, ain't you?
Will go in their state.
You better be up a stimulus check.
We have now achieved that goal.
He's showing the whole video.
Tremendous gift.
They're trying to pass more stimulus. We have these 2 stimulus bills for about $900 billion
Man,
each.
doing my job.
One has a $300 unemployment extension. The other one has a $600 stimulus check and a $600 stimulus check to children. And then there's this third bill now from both Senator Josh Hawley and Bernie Sanders co-authoring this bill that is a standalone bill just for $1,200 stimulus checks as they try to pass something before the government shutdowns now again on next Friday. Joe Biden has a lot to say on stimulus.
Today, I'm really pleased to add members to my team that will get the job done. In addition to the pandemic's grim milestone, the economic crisis has left millions of Americans out of work, without a paycheck, without health insurance, unable to put enough food on the table, literally unable to put food on the table, and unsure whether they can pay their rent for when the new year begins or make their mortgage payments. It's affecting everyone from farmers to students, seniors to veterans, in red states, blue states, small towns, and big cities. And that's why the Congress needs to act, and act now, on the COVID package. I spoke to my 2 friends who are still in the Congress, the Vice President and the soon-to-be Secretary of HUD. We have to get this done. They're pushing hard. But it doesn't look so good right now. But it has to get done before they go home. Millions and millions of Americans simply can't wait any longer. We shouldn't, we can't get bogged down in issues that don't help people. State and local governments need the help. Not only that, as I've said for months, we need to protect essential personnel like law enforcement, firefighters, to make sure everything is in place and effectively distribute the vaccine so that we can do that. This relief package won't be the total answer, even if it gets passed, but it's an important first step.
Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell says that states really don't need funds while small businesses and unemployed Americans do. Again, doubling down on his suggestion that the state money from the Democrats, who are primarily the people that want money for states and cities, and the liability protections, which is something that the Republicans desperately want and Democrats don't want. Mitch McConnell is suggesting to drop both of those from the next bill, which will save money on the bill if there's not hundreds of billions of dollars spent for states and cities, and to pass the bill with everything else that they agree on besides those 2 issues. Of course, Nancy Pelosi and the Democrats said no, they need that money for states and cities, which some of that money does.
I'm done anyway. He always say the money coming, and then he supposed to be covering the stimulus. Now it seems like he trying to do my job. We tune in to see the stimulus. We don't tune in you showing Trump. We already showed him. We want stimulus news. When it's coming. You couldn't pay me to go to the Iraq. Sad. You right, Nia.
The suspect in a gas station robbery in Bethel Park last week, they say Simi Harris and a woman held up the Sunoco on Washington Road just before 1:30 a.m. last Saturday. Harris is in custody. Police are still looking for the woman.
Well, go ahead and let her play.
New at 10 o'clock tonight, we have a neighborhood crime alert. Men armed with weapons caught on camera running up to a family's home and then trying to kick down the door. Channel 2's Roseanne Aragon live in East Harris County just spoke with the homeowner. Roseanne, does anybody have any idea who these men are?
Well, like you said, those homeowners had cameras, and those cameras caught everything that happened. Investigators were able to get a good look at one of the suspects' faces, but tonight both suspects are still on the run.
God was really with us that day.
Viviana Maldonado is a single mother of 3, now dealing with the aftermath of this.
Oh, we saw this. This ain't new.
It all started Saturday.
8 o'clock in the morning, plain daylight.
We saw that already. I remember her. This is a follow-up. The Uber driver, they got jacked in
support tonight from WGN.
Illinois,
since we aired
Chicago.
Her last night, many viewers called us to see how they could help her. And now she has a message back. WGN's Rob Sneed joins us now with more tonight. Rob.
Good evening to you guys. Tonight, Shantae Johnson said that she is still recovering from the trauma that she experienced that night. She says she remembers the guns being pointed at her head. She remembers running for her life and seeing a group of people who she begged and pleaded for help. And instead of helping her, they laughed at her. She says tonight, the fact that folks are reaching out and offering help and love and support, she says it just restored her help and her hope in humanity.
Their kind words. It literally makes it better. It makes it better. I don't think about it that much, about those set of group of people that were literally laughing in such a situation anymore.
What she went through and, you know, pleading for help at that one home with those people that were partying and they just laughed at her. She just touched my heart, and I felt like I had to do something.
Like many of you, Cecilia Littlefield was watching WGN News at 10 last night when she found out about Shantae Johnson's carjacking.
I got to the pickup area, the exact address. I was only approached by a group of young men armed with guns, bust my car door open, and started to force the keys out of my car.
This young woman with a 4-year-old, trying to make a buck, and to have that happen. I told Tracy, my daughter, I said, how can I not reach out to this woman and to try to help her somehow?
And she isn't alone. So many of you reached out to WGN News asking, how can you help?
Donations so far from at least 5 people. I also have gotten a lot of kind words. A lot of people are trying to talk to me trying to help me to cope through the situation because it's a trauma. Money will definitely go to helping me to get a fresh start back because I'm set back way back right now. I'm gonna take that money and try to get me a new phone and just start pick back up the pieces as much as possible.
Right now, she's still without her car, a blue Volkswagen license plate BV93786, but she remains hopeful.
All those people, all those kind-hearted people, thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you so much to feel and understanding my situation and that unfortunate situation that I was caught up in.
And for more information on how you can help Johnson, you can go on our website at WGNTV.com. Reporting live on the city's west side, Rob Sneed, WGN News.
We sure will.
At this rate, I ain't gonna never get my bike.
The time now 11:05 and breaking in the last hour. A state judge made a ruling in one of the president's election lawsuits. 12 News' Matt Smith has been covering this case. And Matt, what's the decision?
What's the decision?
Hi, Charnay. That ruling coming down just within the last few minutes. A judge here after a hearing this morning saying that he is ruling against President Trump and his campaign. This is the fifth ruling against the president's campaign here in Wisconsin in recent days. The judge saying this morning that there is no evidence of widespread fraud or misconduct by state election officials. The Trump team in this state lawsuit, a combined lawsuit in Milwaukee and Dane counties, this coming out of the recounts, was asking the judge to essentially eliminate some 220,000 votes of absentee ballots for various issues, whether you look at those who filled out applications online, those who consider themselves indefinitely confined, voted in person. The Trump campaign was trying to make the argument that the state election commission essentially made their own set of rules for these voters and essentially voted illegally. The judge did not buy that here in court. This hearing, as you saw, was held virtually. This, though, yet just another blow to the Trump campaign, and time is of the essence already. The Trump team this afternoon saying they are going to appeal this decision to the state Supreme Court. Alongside that, we are awaiting another ruling from a federal case, a federal hearing that happened yesterday. The judge indicating he will rule on that by tomorrow. All of this with the backdrop of Monday. That's when the state's 10 electors meet at the state capitol, 10 Democratic electors, because Joe Biden won the state by some 20,000 votes. In the federal lawsuit, that decision still pending. The Trump campaign is essentially asking a federal judge to allow the Republican-controlled legislature to pick the electors, which would become quite the mess between now and Monday. Again, the breaking news here outside the Milwaukee County Courthouse in terms of this state lawsuit, it will be appealed to the state Supreme Court. A circuit court judge ruling against the Trump campaign. We are still this afternoon awaiting a decision from federal court. Reporting in Milwaukee, I'm Matt Smith, WISN 12 News.
All right, and that decision just now coming down. Matt, thank you.
If I were them, I'd say, don't even come my way. If I were the Supreme Court there, I'd say, don't even come. Don't even bring it. You lost.
Fire in DeKalb County, but fire officials say it could
It could have been much worse had it not been for a good Samaritan who helped people jump to safety, including children, a newborn, and a pregnant woman. And while they're safe tonight, at least 24 people now are without a home just 2 weeks before Christmas. Brittany Klein-Peter is live tonight, and she has been there all day into the evening. Brittany, you spoke to the man who is now being credited for saving at least a half a dozen people.
Yeah, it's a pretty wild story. He told me he came home, he saw the smoke, he thought it was a barbecue, and he walked over to the apartment complex, realized it was on fire, and started yelling for people to come out. Now authorities are calling him a hero tonight after he caught several of the victims that jumped from the building.
Jump out! Jump out! Hurry up!
We had kids that under 2 in their Pampers coming out the window. It was just so sad.
A horrific scene as babies, children, and adults jumped to escape a fire. Authorities say it started around 3 p.m. at the Farrington Village apartment complex in Lithonia. 18 people were hurt. Some suffered burns. Others had fractures and bruises. 17 of them are hospitalized.
Jump out!
Meanwhile, many are calling a nearby resident a hero tonight after he noticed the fire and ran to warn residents inside.
I don't see nobody run out the building, so I'm screaming out, please, the building on fire, if you're in there, get out. So the people on the first floor, they start throwing me their kids, the first, 6 out.
Authorities say Cox caught 6 of the 7 victims that leaped from the building, including a newborn and a pregnant woman.
My adrenaline was just rushing. I just want to get everybody out the building.
Red Cross says that they're helping almost 30 people. 11 of them are families, and that's 17 units in this apartment complex were impacted by the fire. We do have fire crews back out here trying to set another spark out that popped up in the last hour, but we will continue to keep you updated on this story both on air and online. Back to you guys.
Gosh, you hate to hear about that happening anytime, but especially so close to the holidays.
Well, it's 2 hours ago. Keep it going. You got a commercial for me?
Just found out my insurance agent has been ripping.
Yep. I thought she was the reporter. Yeah, you got me.
Is live in Cicero with the latest. Dana.
Well, this is the building just behind me here where this crash happened early this morning. You can still see some of the debris there on the ground. Just a horrific scene with no survivors.
And I got here around like 6, at 6 in the morning, and there was a bunch of cop cars everywhere. They were everywhere, and it looked bad.
Waitresses Perla and Jackie work at the Steak and Egger restaurant at Central and Roosevelt in Cicero.
And there was a bunch of police cars, and then they had all the people was the cars were there, and then they had the people on the floor with bodies. Yeah, they covered them.
Around 3 a.m., Cicero police say a gray Jeep Cherokee traveling eastbound on Roosevelt with 4 people inside crashed into the corner of a 3-story brick building. The vehicle caught fire. When police arrived, they were able to extract 3 people from the Jeep, but say all 4 occupants were pronounced dead at the scene.
I feel terrible.
Frank Kanda owns One Stop Liquor, the business on the ground floor of the building that was hit. He arrived this morning to find a huge mess inside.
It's all on the floor, damaged, broken bottles, liquor, all hard liquor, Hennessy and Remy and Douce and stuff like that.
The impact was so intense it knocked dozens of liquor bottles off the shelves. Kanda couldn't even open the front door, which was jarred off track. Residents who live in the apartments above say the crash was so loud it shook the building, waking them up. You can see from this entrance to the units the damage to the interior walls.
I walk all the time through here. I go home, I come back. We exit the alley through there, so it's really hard. How about if we were coming out and they hit us?
A crash that has shaken those who live and work here as they think about the loss and the victims' loved ones.
I mean, it's hard, losing your family, and then especially if they are related, and then 4 of them at the same time on the same time, I mean, just my condolences to the family.
Now, due to the damage to the building, the residents here say a building inspector did come out today and took a look at everything and said that the building was still stable. Now, the Cook County Medical Examiner's Office says that at this point, 2 of these victims have been identified, but they are still in the process of notifying next of kin. The other 2 victims at last update are still unidentified. Live in Cicero, Dana Rebick, WGN News.
Dana, thank you.
Oh. Something ain't right. Why am I still? I cut the heat off 5.5 hours ago. Why am I still sitting here sweating? I don't know. Maybe I need to go lay down. We haven't done the COVID yet. Let me try and get through it. Let me try and get through it, y'all. Let me try and get through it. Okay. Oh. 16,549,366 known cases of the CV, 305,082 deaths. 305,000. All right, let's check the numbers. Time for the CV. California, 29,214 new cases. They lost 123 people. They got more than 750,000 walking around. Texas, 20,984. They lost 216 people. They got 264,000 walking around. Florida, 10,577 new cases. They lost 71 people. They got 412 walking around. Illinois, 8,737. They lost 165 people. They got 350,500 walking around. New York, 10,516 cases new today. They lost 79 people. They got 315,500 walking around. Ohio, 11,252. They lost 56 people. They got 165,000 walking around. Georgia, 6,447. They got 44 new deaths. They got 208,000. Oh, people walking around. Why am I so drowsy? Pennsylvania, 10,029 new cases. They picked up 188 deaths. They got 195,000 walking around. Michigan, 4,813. They lost 233 people. They got 217,500. Tennessee, 6,691 new cases. They lost 73 people. They got 50,000. Wisconsin, 4,059 new cases. They lost 50. They got 48,342. North Carolina, 6,153. They lost 44 people. They got 83,000 walking around. Indiana, 7,401. They lost 85 people. They got 157,000. I was about to say 158,000. New Jersey, 4,810. They lost 61 people. They got 180,000 walking around. Arizona, 8,077. They lost 77 people. They got 334,500 walking around. Minnesota, 4,430. They lost 67 people. They got almost 36 walking around. Missouri, 2,488. God darn. They lost 15 people. They got 257,500 walking around. Alabama, 4,056. They lost 16 people. They got 114,000 walking around. Massachusetts, 5,289. They lost 50 people. They got almost 68,000 people walking around. Colorado, 3,961. They lost 25 people. They got 222,000 walking around. No stats. I'm sorry. Virginia, 4,177. They lost 39 people. They got 248,000 walking around. No stats for Louisiana. Iowa. Oh, the hell. They got 1,629 new cases. They lost 15 people. They got 64,500 walking around. South Carolina, 3,572. They lost 12 people. They got 119,500 walking around. Oklahoma, I'm going to say 4,000 new cases, 35 people lost, 33,000 walking around. My state of Maryland, 3538. They lost 36 people. They got 218,000 walking around. I'm trying, y'all. I don't know why I'm so drowsy. All right, y'all. Let me go and end the show.
GN's.
Y'all have a great night. Thanks for watching. As Nia would say, I'll see you later. And as I say, I'll see y'all tomorrow. All right, I'll see you.